Hello everyone, greetings. I'm delighted to welcome you all to the virtual 7th Annual World Music Conference. Our theme this year is Music and Intelligence. I'm Michelle Yim, your MC for today from Hong Kong. Welcome to the 7th Annual World Music Conference. The conference is virtual this year, making it more accessible than ever before. We are delighted and honored to receive the good wishes and congratulations from the Honorable Prime Minister of Great Britain, Mr. Rishi Sunak, for the 7th Annual World Music Conference. I would like to share the welcome address by Sir Jean Moulin, Lord Mayor Birmingham and the patron of the British Keynote Choir. The British Keynote Choir is delighted to host the 7th Annual World Music Conference under the esteemed patronage received from the UNESCO UK. We are delighted to share the message from Mr. James Omar Bridge, Secretary General and CEO, UNESCO UK.
Hello, I'm James Bridge, Secretary General of the UK National Commission for UNESCO. We're delighted and honoured to give UNESCO UK patronage to the World Music Conference, the 7th edition with a focus on music and intelligence. It's such a great way to bring communities together around the world, and that celebration is part of the whole UNESCO spirit.
Now we'll have His Majesty's former Lord Lieutenant of West Midlands, patrons of the British Keynote Choir, Dr. Paul Salvavi, CVO, CBE.
Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the 7th Annual World Music Conference to be held this Friday at Birmingham, the UK's second city. You are welcome wholeheartedly to attend and participate in this conference, which has been organized by Dr. Chitra Ramakrishnan, MBE FRSA, Director of the World Music Conference. Dr. Ramakrishnan does this because she's passionate about music, and she gives all this free of charge because she wants to strengthen the ties between countries and cultures across the globe. This year is really special because she has managed to persuade and meet the criteria of UNESCO. They are really setting a very high standard to support this conference, and Chitra has passed the test. So we'd like to thank UNESCO for helping to promote this conference. And the theme of the conference this year is about music and intelligence. Music and intelligence are complementary and have great links. As two comedians said in Britain some years back, to make good music, you need the right notes in the right order. So if you have the right notes in the wrong order, you won't have much pleasure. It will be very discordant. And if you have the right notes in the wrong order, it is the same problem. So you need to have the right notes in the right order. So intelligence and music have lots of things in common. You have to practice hard, you have to work hard, you have to set high standards, you have to work together, you have to have a passion and push the boundaries. And it's a partnership, because if you're not in unison, unless you come on time with the other members, you will not have great music. So there is much to tie intelligence and music. And one of the things with music is that it brings cultures and brings communities together all across the world. And doing it virtually means that we're able to get to parts of the world that we would otherwise not reach. So I'm really, really pleased as patron and supporter of the World Music Conference to welcome you all. This year is following last year in terms of recognition. Last year, His Majesty King Charles III gave Chitra an honor of a member of the British Empire and supported this conference. This year, we have the Prime Minister of this great country, Right Honorable Rishi Sunak, the first non-white Prime Minister of this great country, who has sent a message of greetings and wishing this conference a great success. So we are being recognized by people in high positions of the great work that is being done by Chitra and her colleagues. We've had messages of goodwill, and which I believe you will be hearing later on in the program, from my successor as Lord Lieutenant, Sir John Crabtree, OBE, who, along with Dr. Andy Street, CBE, the West Midlands Mayor of the Combined Authority, with the message from the Council General of India, Dr. Shashank Vikram, and also from the Lord Mayor of Birmingham, Councillor Chaman Lal, and many, many, many others who have sent their felicitations and best wishes for this event. We hope that you enjoy this event, that you learn from this event, and that you pass the message that we can all work together in this world. One of the things that's recently in the COP meeting of climate change in Dubai has shown how we are so dependent on each other for peace and prosperity in this world. So let us, as part of our New Year resolution, use music and intelligence to further getting communities to work together for the greater good of mankind. Can I take this opportunity of wishing you and your families a very happy Christmas and a healthy and prosperous 2024. God bless you all. Thank you. Paul Sabapathy, patron of World Music Conference and former Lord Lieutenant of the West Midlands. Thank you and God bless.
I would like to invite Mr. Andy Street, CBE, Mayor of the West Midlands, to share his welcome address.
Hi there, Andy Street, Mayor of the West Midlands here, and it's my pleasure once again to say a big welcome to Birmingham to all of you who are here for the annual World Music Conference. It's a great event for us to be hosting because I know it tackles something really, really important. It's a flagship event put on by the British Carnatic Choir, and I say a huge thank you to them for what they have done to bring this to life once again. And I know the conference has won all sorts of international acclaim from experts. And the lovely thing about it, as you as delegates know this well, we've got all the sort of music industry professionals, musicians themselves, academics, and of course, all those experts who can really understand the advantage this has. But the beautiful thing about this conference is it really does look through, irrespective of background, whether it be ethnicity, affluence, and says, what can music do? So have a splendid time in your conference.
Now we will invite His Majesty's Lord Lieutenant of West Midlands from Sir John Crabtree, OBE.
I'm very pleased to be asked yet again this year to lend my modest support to the World Music Conference here in the West Midlands, put together, of course, by the British Kinetic Choir. This is a terrific annual event which looks at different themes every year. This year, we're looking at the combination of music and intelligence, how one encourages and supports the other. The wonderful thing about this conference is that it reaches out to professional musicians, to artists, to young people, to people who just engage in the idea of music, and always brings out the best of the people that it reaches out to. And every year I hear afterwards about the learning that came out of it and the benefits of the project. So I'm in a very unusual place to be doing this year. I've just come out of an annual carol service at the Holy Trinity Church in Smethwick, which is why, of course, I'm without my headdress and without my sword, without my white gloves, but I'm thrilled to have this opportunity just to wish you all the very best and to hear afterwards how well it's gone. Thank you.
I would like to invite the founder, director, British Kinetic Choir, and curator of the World Music Conference, Dr. Chitra Ramakrishnan, MBE, FRSA, FRAS, to deliver the welcome address.
Good morning, everyone. Namaste. I hope you're all well. I'm Chitra Ramakrishnan, the founder, director of the British Carnatic Choir, and founder and curator of the World Music Conference. It is with great pleasure that I welcome you all to the 7th Annual World Music Conference. We are delighted to receive the good wishes and congratulations from Honorable Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Right Honorable Mr. Rishi Sunak MP. We are also delighted to receive the patronage from the United Kingdom Commission for the UNESCO. This year, our conference seeks to explore the synergistic relationship between music and intelligence with focus on world music. The World Music Conference seeks to respect intercultural variation and promote appreciation through music, our universal language. Today, we will hear from renowned professionals, scholars, and musicians on how music correlates to developing intelligence of various forms, including scientific, emotional, linguistic, logical, and much more. You will benefit from this conference as you may adopt more efficient lifestyle practices in your daily lives. The theme is topical at present, especially with the rapid growth of artificial intelligence and its proliferation into various fields from manufacturing to healthcare. However, there is limited recognition of its potential to contribute to music. Therefore, this year, the World Music Conference vows to examine the utilization of artificial intelligence into music practice and performance, considering how these situations can be enhanced for all stakeholders involved. We intend to concise our talks to increase transparency in these fields to ultimately enhance the accessibility and usefulness of artificial intelligence in daily life. It is our intention that this conference could springboard the redefinition of educational curriculums, positively impacting the ways we currently go about teaching music to the younger generation. Later today, we have the virtual awards ceremony where we will be honoring recipients of the British Carnatic Choir Awards for Arts and Culture 2023. Join us for an exciting day exploring the latest research and innovations in the field of music and intelligence. And please do join us in the virtual awards ceremony later today. Thank you. Namaste.
We are delighted to share the good wishes from Consul General of India in Birmingham and our chief patron of the World Music Conference, His Excellency Dr. Shashank Vikram, IFS.
I extend my congratulations and felicitations to Dr. Chitra Ramakrishnan and the entire team at Shruti UK for once again bringing the annual World Music Conference to Birmingham. I understand that this is the 7th year when it is happening and it's being celebrated virtually. This also comes at a very important time when just yesterday on 6th of December, UNESCO has included Garba, the famous dance form from the state of Gujarat, in India in its list of intangible cultural heritage of humanity. It once again celebrates the strength of the Indian dance forms, Indian art forms, and Indian cultural richness which we have, which helps in bringing together the communities across the world and is strengthening the bonds between them. So I once again, on this happy occasion, congratulate Shruti UK and give my best wishes. I hope the event is a great success.
Ladies and gentlemen, our first keynote speaker is Professor Francisco Tiglamura. He is a professor of marketing at IUB University of Applied Science from Germany. He is very passionate about music marketing. He will be presenting on the keynote speech on artificial intelligence and the new creative paradigm. Professor Francisco Tiglamura.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you. It's really an honor. And I'd like to share some thoughts with you on artificial intelligence and the new creative paradigm. And I'd like to begin by mentioning a quote which is credited to Michelangelo, that every block of stone has a statue inside it, and it is the task of the sculptor to discover it. What he was referring to was the innate human ability of being creative, of imagining things that don't exist, and seeing beauty where also beauty doesn't necessarily exist. And it's also one of the reasons why we come to admire different composers such as Bob Dylan, McCartney, Nina Simone, or Carole King for their capacity of imagining harmonies and melodies and lyrics where in theory doesn't exist. But what exactly is creativity? As you can imagine, creativity is one of those concepts with multiple definitions, but one which is widely accepted is from Margaret Bowden, that she says that creativity is the ability to come up with ideas or artifacts that are new, surprising, and valuable. So the novelty aspect of creativity, coming up with something which is somehow new, is very important. But that means new in two different ways. We have psychological novelty, which is when something is new to us, but not exactly to others, and historical novelty, when something is truly groundbreaking, which in the case of music is a little bit more complex. But how do we understand creativity, the process of creativity? Well, there's three main modes which we look at. The first one is called combinational creativity, which is unfamiliar combinations of familiar ideas. Another one is exploratory creativity, which is when we try to generate new outcomes within the boundaries or existing boundaries or rules. For example, trying to come up with novel ways of playing a given genre without breaking the rules of that genre. Another one is transformational creativity, when you truly break away from existing boundaries or rules to generate novel outcomes. Also, in the understanding of creativity, we have come up with many different frameworks. And when I say we, I mean authors throughout time. And the latest framework to understand creativity is composed of of 8 main P's, where half of them, 4, are heavily based on human elements. For example, the public, the audience, to which the work is created. Purpose, for which the creativity is made for, or human motivation and intentionality. Persons, the characteristics of people who are creative and who are conducting that creative process. And the actual process itself and the mental effort, the mental operations which are needed for that particular process, which in the case of music involved also skill and expertise. So as you can see, our current understanding of creativity and our current paradigm of creativity is still heavily influenced on the human element and the human intentionality and motivation and the human skill and expertise that are required to generate outputs which are both novel and valuable. However, creativity, as I'm trying to explain, is a process, and processes can be understood, deciphered, and therefore replicated. And that's what automation and artificial intelligence is now capable of doing. Now, I know there's a huge buzz in artificial intelligence in general, but it's very important for us to understand that this is not exactly a novel discussion. It actually draws back all the way to the 50s. And interestingly, in 56 was when John McCarthy, during an academic conference, for the first time used the term artificial intelligence In that same year, Hiller and Isaacson completed the Iliac Suite, which is deemed to be the first computer music ever made. Fast forward a few decades, we have the groundbreaking work of Professor David Cope that created EMI, that stood for Experimental Music Intelligence, which is basically the automation of a process that could decompose compositions, identify commonalities, and then recombine them in familiar or unfamiliar ways to generate music. So as he described at the time, was actually the process of pressing a button and seeing hours of music come out. Very interestingly, this year there was a documentary made about David Cope called The Opus Scope, in which there was a quote during the documentary that I found super interesting, where they mentioned it was possible to produce beautiful music, which meant nothing. Exactly. The process of creativity had been deconstructed, understood, and replicated for music. Fast forward a few decades, in the early 2010s, we saw the release of a series of different tools that would allow music composition, music production, songwriting in general, lyrics writing, all of these processes being automated. Fast forward only a few years, and then we saw the release of a number of albums by Tara Southern, Skyge, Holly Hurden, and Yacht, all using artificial intelligence to some extent. And this year, very interestingly, the Beatles released their last official track, Now and Then, which I particularly really liked. And they used AI in the production process to isolate John Lennon's voice from a previous demo and then conclude the track. So when we mention artificial intelligence and music, it's very important for us to understand not as a fully autonomous organism which is generating music by itself, but I like to call it more a process of artificial co-creation, because the human always has some level of input, regardless if it was how the Beatles use it or how some of the previous artists use it or how David Cope use it. So we should think of it as a scale in which along the scale, the human has more or less input. However, what do we actually think about artificial creativity? If we know that that AI is now composing music, how do we actually respond to this? Well, this is one of the topics in which I research. A few years back, what we identified in a study, in a two-stage study, was that first of all, people had a fairly negative perception towards artificial intelligence in music. However, when we followed that up with experimentation, what we found was that there was no effect as long as people liked what they heard, which makes full sense, because music is a stimuli that triggers our nervous system. And if we are responding in a positive way, our emotions are being triggered in a positive way, it's very hard for us to go against it. In another study which we conducted, what we identified was that the type of product played a role, and there was not actually much difference between music and other types of products when AI was applied in the production process. And very interestingly, there was no effect on emotional value, the knowledge or the awareness that AI had been used in the process. Also, for the last years, I've been conducting a monitor project measuring the perceptions of music fans and measuring a number of different elements. And one of the things that what I measure is the perception of artificial intelligence being used in music. And what we see is a slow desensitization. And given that in the end of last year, with the breakthrough of ChatGPT really bursting the bubble of AI tools for the general audience, I would expect also a much higher desensitization. In other words, the higher the adoption rate of AI tools, the greater we should expect the acceptance of not only the tools themselves in the process, but how these outputs are being perceived. And that is why myself and many other colleagues have raised the importance of us changing our paradigm on creativity and trying to see creativity in a different light now, not exactly because we want to, and this is very important to state, not exactly because we want to, but because these tools are so groundbreaking and they change to such extent the way in which we understand creativity that we have to change the way in which we see it. And in this new creative paradigm, we should consider human and AI co-creation as a pivotal type of process that doesn't undermine the value of the output. And that's also why we need to reconsider the role of skill and expertise in creative processes. And that's something which is very difficult for us humans to accept, because developing a skill and expertise is something that takes time, especially in the case of music and in mastering your instrument. And now imagine just seeing someone mastering a software and being able to generate outputs that are potentially as valuable as. In this case, we also need to broaden our minds for the creativity of non-creatives that would now be possible of generating creative outputs without necessarily that skill or expertise. And finally, also potentially considering the autonomous intentionality of algorithms. To conclude, what is the future like of artificial creativity? As anything that involves artificial intelligence, we should look at both sides of the coin. From one perspective, with a huge fascination. If you remember in the beginning, I was mentioning historical novelty. It is so possible of reaching historical novelty, which not exactly is going to be positive, but we can reach it through unfamiliar combinations. It is very likely that we're going to reach new genres or sounds that were at the moment simply unthought of, but we will be able to reach them simply because of the scale in which AI can operate. So regardless of those endless possibilities, we also should have a series of concerns of ethical use of artificial intelligence. For example, for training without authorizations of composers. Fears of copyrights, of how do we deal with this abundance of AI-generated music based on training of existing works of others. The truth is that at the moment, we have way more questions than we do answers. And we need way more research and way more time to understand all of the changes that are going on. So for one perspective, yes, we should be highly excited and broadening our minds. From the other, we should be cautious. Thank you very much for the opportunity. It's been a pleasure talking to you. I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference. And if you're interested in the topic, don't hesitate to contact me. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
I would like to invite our first speaker, Dr. Shantella Hede, Additional Professor and Clinical Consultant, Neuropsychology at the National Institute of Mental Health and Sciences, Bengaluru. Her topic of presentation today is, how does music impact the brain? Is this something everyone should seek to engage in?
Namaste, everyone. I'm happy to present a few points on musical training and its benefits on neurocognitive functions in children at this prestigious conference. I heartily thank Mrs. Chitra Ramakrishnan for giving me this opportunity. The next 15 minutes or so, I will make a case as to why musical training is beneficial and why it is important in overall development of children, as well as enhancing their neurocognitive functions. Here I'm going to talk about aspects such as near and far transfer effects when it comes to brain functions. What do we mean by near and far transfer? The true nature or the basic nature of the human brain is that it can be malleable, that it has ability to rewire itself, reconnect itself. And although there are important critical stages during the developmental trajectory, but even an adult brain, even following injury to the brain or aberrations due to some infection, or any clinical condition, still has the ability to utilize the existing neuronal networks, the underlying brain functions, and reconnect itself, and thereby heal itself. That's the true nature of the human brain. And when we talk about neural plasticity as its veritable nature, as its true nature, any experience from the environment or any processes that we indulge in both have a similar impact. So there is something called as near transfer and far transfer. For example, if we take music as an example, near transfer would be to engage in musical domain or musical skills, thereby enhancing cognitive functions that are underlying this highly trained auditory perception and processing. So we do know through neuroscientific research, this plethora of work done on highly trained musicians looking at how they're better in auditory perception, fine motor abilities, especially in instrumentalists, or they're better in integrating auditory signals from other sensory motor information, their ability to pitch discriminate or understand contour in melodic or rhythmic context is far better than those who have not been trained. That's quite obvious. If we take sports personnel, for example, if someone who is interested in different kinds of sports, they may be very good with fine motor movement, hand motor coordination, depending on the skills that they have spent so many hours practicing. And that's what we call as near transfer, closer to the domain that they are trained in. Now, far transfer would be other than the domain that they have been working on or spending their time on, are there neurocognitive functions that are not probably very obviously related to this domain, still having an enhanced ability because of the training in this domain? Now, again, taking the same example of musical training, does it have an impact on spatial, visuospatial skills or mathematical skills or language skills or overall general IQ that we call as, or intelligence, in terms of higher cognitive processing, other cognitive functions such as working memory, executive functions, so on and so forth. So there's a whole lot of debate going on looking at near and far transfer effect. Now, this has a significant impact not only in the domain of music education or musical training, but also plays an important role in using music in rehabilitation, in neuropsychological rehabilitation or brain rehabilitation. Now, to the context of today's lecture, I would like to build a case as to why musical training has both near and far transfer effect, and why musical training is important, and why should it be part of perhaps curriculum and not be treated as an extracurricular activity in our academic pursuits. Now, there's a very important paper that came about in 2020, basically negating that absolutely there is no near or like far transfer effect because of musical training in children, and that significant amount of funds that were being given for such research is worthless, kind of a debate that started. In fact, subsequently, 2 years later, Emmanuel Bigan and Barbara Tillman reanalyzed this data and found that there were some statistical method that could be worked upon, and there were some errors that they highlight from Sala and Gobe's work, stating that music definitely is undoubtedly a recreational activity. Historically, evolutionary point of view, if you look at it, music does play a very important role from that perspective. However, it may be statistically like a small effect size. When you look at the far transfer effect, nevertheless, you cannot ignore it. There are statistically significant far transfer effect. So to just push it aside, saying that musical training will not have any beneficial effect on other neurocognitive functions or other abilities would be a very immature way of looking at the research data that is existing in the field. Now, if we take intelligence here, yes, the term intelligence has been used, musical intelligence has been used, but I, being a neuropsychologist, I would like to highlight that when we talk about intelligence, the underlying neurocognitive functions play an important role. So if we historically look at it, the term comes from, the term intelligent comes from intelligentsia, intellectus, or Basically meaning that how do you comprehend or how do you perceive the environment? How do you process? How do you adapt to the environment? That's the key thing. And in fact, Wechsler's definition of intelligence is about how purposefully, rationally we deal with the environment, how well we adapt to the environment. Of course, historically in the field of psychology, there have been two main approaches, psychometric approach or information processing approach. Basically, compartmentalizing intelligence to one aspect of, let's say, reasoning or problem solving and things like that. We do know that's a very limited or a very narrow approach to understanding intelligence. But if you look at subsequent theories, there are several theories that have been put forth to understand this concept of intelligence. And one of the important theories that that is widely accepted is Howard Gardner's work on multiple intelligences. One, we should know that intelligence is definitely a normally distributed component. Like you have majority falling between, let's say, into the range of 90 to 100 or 110, and then subsequently few percentage either falling below 2 SD, 2 standard deviation, or above 2 standard deviation. But the key thing is the multiple intelligence theory of Howard Gardner is highlighting the fact that it's not how smart you are that matters, but how you are smart is what matters. So in fact, Howard Gardner himself, in one of his interview, has stated that he would have preferred to use the term abilities or talent or gifts rather than the term intelligences. But given the time, historically, the term intelligence caught the eye and the attention that it required, and his theory became famous as it is, as we all know today. Now, the point here is multiple intelligences talk about one, ability to solve problems or create products that are in the area of value within one or more cultural setting. And it's basically also a psychological potential to process information that can be activated in a cultural setting to solve problems or create products that are of value in a given culture. So basically, what I'm trying to highlight through this perspective is that when we take music as a cognitive process, or music from Howard Gardner's theory as one of the component of multiple intelligences, it basically has a lot of rich aspect to it. It's not just a unilateral or a unidimensional concept that we are talking about. When we talk about any ability or intelligence from this theory, there are several aspects that needs to fulfill. And in the theory, they talk about 8 criteria. One, it has a place in evolutionary history, presence of core operation, susceptibility to encoding, symbolic expressions, a distinct developmental progression, potential for brain isolation by brain damage, or the existence of prodigies or exceptional people with those abilities, and support from experimental psychology and support from psychometric properties. Today, in the field of neuromusicology or neuroscience and music cognition, all these criteria is fulfilled in more than one ways, I would say. What do we understand about music as of today? That it is universal, we all know. Of course, it is culturally and socio-culturally a form of entertainment, but also an important neurocognitive function, which has a strong biological basis to it. It's a tremendously demanding task. So if you look at it from a neurocognitive perspective, it engages more than one domain of cognitive function. So in that sense, yes, it is truly a form of intelligence or a domain of intelligence. And there are structural and functional changes, networks that are shared with other neurocognitive functions like language functions or non-musical domains of function. Now, going by this premise of neural plasticity, musical training, musical education, by engaging these neural networks, the shared neural networks, of course, in addition to the unique networks that we know that are unique for musical processing, it could be highly unique auditory processing, pitch processing, things like that. would have an impact on the far transfer effect. That means more than there would be a spilling over impact of musical training on other domains of neurocognitive functioning in people who are engaged, not just children, but anybody who's engaged in musical training. So these are some of the networks that we know are multiple networks that are engaged when we talk about music. And if you map it onto the very theory of multiple intelligences proposed by Howard Gardner, you would see that music and rhythmic ability would have an impact on all other domains of intelligences or capacities, as Gardner himself says. It could be with language functions, visuospatial skills because of the musical reading abilities or rhythm perception, highly trained auditory processing, to be able to have body kinesthetic movement, motor coordination, singing, for example. So all these domains that we talk about can be impacted through musical training. And in addition, in his modified theory of the very same theory of intelligence, Gardner also adds two more components, that is moral and existential. And I am of this opinion that musical training, especially if you take even Indian classical music, has a strong base to it as spiritual training or aspects of existential questions. So from a developmental point of view, musical training can have an impact on all these aspects of not just cognitive abilities, but emotional abilities. We do know musical training has an impact on emotion regulation, recognition of emotion, perception of emotion, empathy, and also the strong base of music being a spiritual pursuit. So in that sense, musical training would have far transfer effect in those areas. We do know through research, structural imaging research, functional imaging research, that there are structural changes also existing in highly trained musicians, like sensory motor areas, auditory areas, or multimodal integration areas, such as the prefrontal area or the posterior parieto-temporal areas. A recent study by a dear friend of mine, Psyche Louis, which was published in Frontiers in Psychology, also has shown that controlling for all other variables, like what number of hours that children spend in sports activities or other overall IQ itself, musical training had an additional benefit in bringing about changes, structural changes in their superior longitudinal fasciculus. In fact, there are studies by researchers like Asal Habibi talking about how musical training has an impact on response inhibition, one of the important executive functioning. So if we look at our world, our environment, our surrounding post-COVID, mental health has become a major issue. And I strongly feel that musical training, music education, not only has an impact on neurocognitive function with its near and far transfer effect, but also an impact on overall psychological health, mental health, building resilience, because of its impact on domains like emotion regulation, compassion, mindfulness. Also, musical education is not just a solitary pursuit. It also has a group social structure to it. So engaging with pro-social behavior is something that can get honed through musical training. And especially in Indian tradition, a significant importance is given to Guru Shishya Parampara, or a guru or a teacher. And music is almost considered as a spiritual pursuit. In fact, the Mahabharata, an important historical as well as an important treatise of Hindu tradition. In that, Arjuna takes the form of Brihannala during his Ajnatavasa, and he teaches dance. He's a very good dancer, and he teaches dance to Uttara, one of the princes, where Arjuna has taken, being disguised in a disguised form. He says, do not make mistake of thinking dance and art forms are only for entertainment, as a mode of entertainment.
Art forms are like guru, which teaches us meaning of words. Learning art is the penance of teaching us balanced personality, good manners, and sahana and tapasya while learning an art form. Basically, requires a lot of diligence, perseverance. So, in that sense, it goes beyond just mere talking about impact on neurocognitive functions from a very hardcore neuroscience perspective. So I put forth a case for education, music education for all, art education for all, because it not only facilitates and enhances neural plasticity. Music education can be a prophylaxis in many ways, more than one ways. Not everybody who learns music in their childhood, it's not that everybody should become musicians. It's not like everybody who plays who should become a sportsman, or everybody who learns a different language should become a poet or a highly trained literary person. But all these skills, so I often say, be jack of all, be master of many as well. Master of one is good, but be master of many as well. So basically, musical training, art education is required to build the cognitive reserve, which we say is so important, especially from a clinical perspective as well. It builds the resilience. It gives the brain the strength to withstand some of the impact a clinical condition can have. So cognitive reserve plays a very important role as to how patients or our clinic, from a clinical perspective, how patients respond to rehabilitation. So I underscore the need for, of course, a lot more scientific research in this field that's happening, and more to come from Indian traditions as well, and looking at cross-cultural research. I keep highlighting this in many of my talks, and this is where I end. And I thank my mentors, my collaborators, my entire music lab members for carrying out some of the research that we are doing here at NIMHANS, Bengaluru. And a take-home message, I would say, music training is extremely important. Whether it has a near transfer or far transfer, doesn't matter. We will not worry. Let's leave the science part to the researchers to take care of it. But we do know that music training can have a significant impact. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Dr. Lashmi Baraj. She is currently serving as the Chief Officer and Head of Research at Indian Dental Association IDA, Head Office Mumbai. She's been trained in Hindustani classical music, practicing vocalist trained in classical kinetic music from Woodland Fine Arts Society, and hold a diploma in Hindustani classical music vocal. She will be speaking about AI and predictive learning, and have already found its path into the music industry. Dr. Lashmi Baraj.
Namaskaram. I'm Dr. Lakshmi, an oral oncologist by profession and a passionate vocalist. It's a humble privilege for me to share my insights, ideas, and visions for the future of music industry. Before we embark on this exploration of the profound impact of artificial intelligence, that's AI, on the music industry, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Chitraji for providing me this wonderful platform of the World Music Conference. It is a privilege to engage with a community that shares a passion for boundless possibilities and rich traditions that music embodies. So, without much delay, welcome to my presentation today, wherein we will delve into how AI, a rapidly advancing technology, has revolutionized various facets of the music industry. AI in the context of music refers to the application of computational algorithms to create, analyze, or perform musical compositions. It encompasses systems designed to understand, compose, or interact with music in ways resembling human musical endeavors. AI integration in music has become a transformational force reshaping how music is created, produced, and consumed. And its importance lies in its capacity to enhance creativity, streamline production processes, offer some personalized experiences, and preserve musical heritage. With this introduction, which has set the pace for the upcoming presentation, I shall be outlining the focus of AI in music through the following components, starting with its milestones, its applications in the musical industry, its application in classical Indian music, in music therapy, some of the challenges and ethical considerations, and then finally summarizing on the presentation. Well, this slide presents a timeline of AI's evolution in music, highlighting key periods, technological advancements, and innovation timestamps that have shaped its role in the industry. It outlines the journey from basic algorithms to sophisticated AI systems, setting the stage for current state and future potential of AI in music. So you can see the journey of its early applications in 1950s all the way till the key innovations that's taken place over the last recent years. So let me take you through how artificial intelligence has impacted the music industry, how it has empowered music. AI can compose music autonomously or in collaboration with human composers. So, using algorithms, AI can analyze existing music, recognize the patterns, and create new compositions based on this analysis. Companies have already started developing AI systems capable of generating music in different genres or emulating specific artist styles. AI tools assist musicians in various ways, from suggesting chord progressions, harmonies, or melodies to offering real time feedback during the practice sessions. So, these tools can help in refining the musical compositions, providing a fresh perspective or even generate new ideas. A lot of streamlining platforms and music apps these days use AI algorithms to curate personalized playlists for the users based on their listening habits, preferences, and likes. So, AI analyzes user preferences and the behaviors to recommend new tracks, artists, and playlists, improving user experience and discovery. AI has also been incorporated into the music production to improve sound quality and speed up the production process. AI tools can assist in tasks like audio mastering, mixing, and sound editing, making the process more efficient and sometimes more precise. AI is utilized to protect intellectual property by detecting and managing the copyright infringement. AI technology can be used in a lot of live performances, enabling interactive experiences wherein the systems generate music in real time based on the audience's reactions or performer's input. So, this builds the rapport and blurs the line between the creator and the audience, thus offering a very unique dynamic experience. AI powered systems can also analyze vast amounts of musical data to identify the trends, patterns, and even predict musical trends, helping labels and artists make more informed decisions about what might resonate with the audiences. So, we see that it presents a myriad of opportunities, and as technology advances, AI is likely to play an increasingly influential role in the creation, distribution, and consumption of music. This is a very brief slide which shows how AI has revolutionized the live music. So, AI has played a very important role in real time adaptation, wherein the systems dynamically respond to live performances, adjust the elements like tempo, rhythm, or accompaniments. And this has resulted in interactive and improvisational capabilities, wherein it has helped in collaborative performances, wherein AI systems interact with the human musicians, create music in real time based on live inputs. It has also helped in dynamic adaptability, by reacting to changes in the performance, allowing for improvisation and unique variations. There have been a couple of examples of AI assisted performances, like the Kraftwerk 3D shows, which shows the integration of AI and live performances in electronic music, or Shimon the Robotic Musician, wherein there is a collaboration with human musicians in jazz improvisations. So, overall, AI enabled live performances results in enhanced creativity and a unique audience experiences, thus providing a very novel, interactive, and immersive performances. And there is a lot of possibilities and scope of better prospects of AI based instrumentation and expanded collaboration, wherein AI's integration can be explored in various music genres and live settings to enhance the performance. And how can we perceive AI's application in classical Indian music is that it helps in raga identification and classification. So, a lot of algorithms have been developed to recognize and classify different ragas in the Indian classical music. This aids in music education, training, and preservation of the rich tradition of Indian classical music. AI systems have also been used to compose music in the style of classical Indian ragas. So these systems learn patterns from the existing composition and they generate new music in the same style. So this helps to improvise music in real time. AI based applications provide learning tools for students of Indian classical music. So this can be offered through interactive lessons. It helps in tuning the instruments and provide vocal training, and also offer real time feedback to the learners, thus improving their skills. AI driven apps and devices assist musicians in tuning their instruments accurately. So, these tools use AI to recognize and adjust the tuning of the instruments, ensuring that they are in tune with specific requirements of the Indian classical music. The most important application here is AI systems are used to digitize, preserve, and categorize vast collections of classical Indian music, or any form of music for that matter, aiding in the archiving and documentation of the musical heritage. So, these technologies help in cataloging, organizing, and preserving recordings and historical music compositions. Some AI systems have been used to create interactive performances with Indian classical musicians, and AI algorithms have also been integrated into music platforms to recommend Indian classical music based on a listener's, as I mentioned, preferences, likes, patterns, aiding in the discovery of new artists, albums, and performances. So, AI's application in the Indian classical music has contributed extensively, and the integration of AI into classical Indian music demonstrates the adaptability of technology to diverse cultural and artistic forms. Now, this is a section that interests me a lot, but within the ambit of the time, I would just like to run through the applications, innovative applications that AI has found in music therapy. So, one is it analyzes the individual patient data, such as the emotional state, physiological responses, and musical preferences, and tailor makes music therapy sessions specifically to the needs of the patient. So, this kind of a personalized approach optimizes effectiveness of the therapy, and it also helps to create adaptive therapy sessions. It dynamically adjusts elements like tempo, rhythm, or melody in real time during the therapy sessions. Again, this responding to the patient's physiological and emotional state. There are a lot of interactive tools and applications which are AI driven and which helps to create and manipulate music in real time. All these tools offer means for expression and can facilitate communication for the individuals who may find it otherwise challenging to communicate through the conventional means. AI can analyze data during the music therapy sessions. It can also be used for remote music therapy sessions, making it accessible to individuals who cannot access in person therapy. And AI powered music therapy applications may aid in cognitive rehabilitation, memory enhancement, and overall cognitive skill therapy. Through interactive musical exercises, these tools can stimulate various cognitive functions. There is a lot of research happening in this area. A lot of exploration has already happened in our raga therapy, but now the research is more focused on how AI can be integrated into this kind of a raga therapy or the music therapy. We came across a myriad of opportunities that AI possess for music and the industry. But there are some challenges as well. For example, as AI generates music, issues related to the intellectual property rights, ownership, and authenticity emerge, challenging the traditional notions of authorship in music. So, these are some of the ethical considerations. While AI aids in music creation, it might lack the emotional and intuitive aspects inherent in human compositions, potentially leading to a loss of the human touch in music, the personal touch. There's a concern that the vast amount of AI generated music might flood the market, diluting original compositions and potentially diminishing the value of human creativity. There are certain inadvertent biases present in training data, affecting the type of music recommended or created. So, ensuring fairness in music recommendations and creation becomes crucial. AI systems might not fully grasp the cultural or emotional nuances in music, limiting their ability to produce music that truly resonates with the human experience. Adoption of AI tools in music creation requires educating musicians and creators, some of whom may be resistant to technology's changing role in music production. AI driven music platforms often collect the user data, as we know, for personalization, raising concerns about privacy and data security. So, balancing the benefits with these challenges is essential in harnessing the full potential of AI in the music industry while addressing ethical, cultural, and creative concerns. So, let us quickly resonate back as to what AI potentially holds for us in the music industry. It has definitely helped in transformation in creativity production and accessibility. It has helped to preserve the musical heritage and personalize experiences. It has acted as a catalyst for innovation and progress in music and has also helped in the union of human creativity with technology. So, as AI continues to integrate with music, it's essential to embrace its possibilities while preserving the essence of musical artistry. The dynamic landscape of music with AI marks a new era of exploration and evolution. Finally, I wish to extend my heartfelt gratitude to each one of you for being a part of this exploration into the fusion of technology and music. A special thanks once again to the World Music Conference for providing a platform that champions the convergence of tradition and innovation in the world of music. Your commitment to fostering dialogue and exploration is truly commendable. Please feel free to reach out if you have any further questions or insights to share. Let's stay connected and continue this conversation. Thank you once again, and until our paths cross again, may your melodies be ever resonant. Thank you.
Our next speaker is a pianist and music theorist. She holds a PhD in music theory and historical musicology from the University at Buffalo. She is the founder of Musical IQ, a semi-academic online magazine for music professionals. She will be speaking on intelligent practice strategy for music students, a cognitive framework. Dr. Antonella Di Giglio.
Hi, and thank you for joining me today. I'm thrilled to share with you a special framework that will change how we approach music education. The Cognitive Framework for Intelligent Practice Strategies, or CFIPS, represents a synthesis of various disciplines, including cognitive science, psychology, and educational theory, all aimed at enhancing musical learning. My journey in music theory, as well as in teaching and performing, has led me to this intersection of disciplines, and I'm excited to explore its possibilities with you. The development of the Cognitive Framework for Intelligent Practice Strategies, or CFIPS, is the result of a fascinating journey that blends my passion and expertise in music with the innovative capabilities of ChatGPT-4. This journey began with a simple task: brainstorming ideas for an academic paper. As I looked into a variety of suggestions, my interest fell on the potential of AI in enhancing music education. This curiosity sparked the idea of creating a framework that would seamlessly integrate cutting-edge research, AI technology, and the intricate aspects of human learning. The collaborative process with ChatGPT-4 was pivotal in shaping the CFIPS. While the framework is not solely my original concept, it stands as a testament to the synergy between human expertise and AI's extensive analytical and informational prowess. This collaboration led to a comprehensive and innovative approach where traditional pedagogical theories were woven together with the latest advancements in AI. The result is an educational strategy that represents the fusion of human creativity and AI's transformative potential, offering a forward-thinking and deeply rooted approach to music education. CFIPS exemplifies how AI can complement human intellect, leading to groundbreaking developments in educational methodologies. Let's begin by exploring the essence of CFIPS. This framework is not just a collection of theories, it's designed to integrate cognitive science, psychology, and various pedagogical theories to redefine music education. At its core, the CFIPS is about understanding and optimizing how students learn music. So it considers factors like memory, attention, and cognitive load, aspects that are crucial in determining how effectively a student can learn and retain musical skills. Moreover, the CFIPS incorporates cutting-edge elements like schema theory, construction grammar, and semiotics, providing a rich approach to music learning. And at the very end, the inclusion of cultural sustaining pedagogies and artificial intelligence underscores our commitment to creating a learning environment that is not only effective, but also inclusive and adaptive to the needs of each student. Now, let's unpack each of these components and their role in our framework. Now, let's look at cognitive science and psychology. At the core of the CFIPS lies an understanding of cognitive processes crucial in learning music. Cognitive theories provide insights into how the brain processes, stores, and retrieves information, which is vital for developing effective learning strategies. For instance, cognitive load theory helps us design practice routines that optimize the amount of information a student can process without feeling overwhelmed.
This theory, coupled with research on memory encoding, guides us in creating practice sessions that are not only challenging to students, but also ensure long-term retention of musical skills. If we look at schema theory, on the other hand, we see how schema theory plays a pivotal role in the CFIPS. It suggests that all knowledge is organized into units or schemas, which are continually updated with new information and experiences. In music education, this means helping students form and refine their musical schemas, whether they are related to rhythm, melody, harmony, or musical forms. By building and reinforcing these schemas, CFIPS enables students to more efficiently process and understand new musical concepts, leading to faster and more profound learning. The application of semiotics will enhance this musical learning in a different way. Semiotics, the study of signs and symbols and their use or interpretation, is crucial in understanding how music conveys meaning. In CFIPS, we use semiotic principles to help students decode and understand the language and the signs of music. This includes understanding how musical elements like pitch, dynamics, and tempo contribute to the emotional and narrative aspects of music. By integrating semiotic analysis, students can develop a deeper understanding of music as a form of expression and communication. The last element, the last discipline applied to the CFIPS is linguistics and constructional grammar. Linguistics, particularly in the field of constructional grammar, as applied to music by Robert Göttingen, offers valuable insights for the CFIPS. Constructional grammar suggests that just as language consists of constructions, patterns that speakers use to express certain meanings, music too has its constructions or patterns. Göttingen's work shows how certain musical patterns recur throughout Western classical music, functioning like grammatical constructions in language. The CFIPS integrates these ideas, teaching students to recognize and understand these musical patterns and constructions. This approach not only aids in the analysis and interpretation of music, but also in the creation and improvisation of new music. In summary, these theoretical foundations, cognitive theories, schema theory, semiotics, and linguistics, collectively form the backbone of the CFIPS framework. They provide a comprehensive, interdisciplinary approach to music education, allowing us to create a rich, effective, and deeply engaging learning experience for students. All these disciplines are connected through a grounding idea. In a world that is increasingly interconnected and diverse, the role of culturally sustaining pedagogies in music education becomes even more important. Culturally sustaining pedagogies are not merely about inclusion. It is all about actively recognizing and utilizing the diverse cultural backgrounds and experiences that students bring to the music classroom. This approach helps in creating a learning environment that is not just culturally sensitive, but also rich in its content and delivery. By integrating these diverse perspectives and musical traditions, the CFIPS fosters a deeper understanding and appreciation of music, allowing students to see themselves reflected in what they learn and how they learn it. And finally, the integration of artificial intelligence in the CFIPS marks a significant leap forward a personalized music education. AI technologies offer capabilities in adaptive learning, where practice sessions are tailored to the unique strengths and challenges of each student. Imagine a scenario where AI algorithms analyze a student's performance in real time, providing feedback and suggestions tailored specifically to their current level and learning style. This level of personalization ensures that each student can work on their weaknesses and capitalize on their strengths, making the learning process more efficient and effective. Now, moving from theory to practice, let's discuss how the CFIPS can be implemented in real-world settings. Practical implementation involves integrating these theories and technologies into daily practice routines and into teaching. This might include designing lesson plans that are cognitively balanced, using AI-powered tools for personalized planning and feedback, or incorporating culturally diverse musical pieces and students' own compositions into their curriculum. Here is how music teachers can utilize CFIPS to enhance their teaching and benefit their students. We can, first of all, optimize the cognitive load. Teachers can design lessons that balance new and challenging material with students' existing cognitive load. This might involve breaking down complex pieces into smaller, more manageable sections, allowing students to focus only on one section at a time and avoid cognitive overload. We can also incorporate exercises that improve long-term retention, such as spaced repetition or variations in practice. For instance, instead of practicing the same piece over and over again or the same section over and over again in one session, students can revisit it over several days, interspersing practice with other pieces or exercises. Teachers can also have students build and refine their musical schemas by connecting new concepts to existing knowledge. For example, when introducing a new musical form, the teacher might relate it to forms the student is already familiar with, drawing parallels and highlighting differences. This approach helps students assimilate new information more effectively. We can also include lessons on interpreting the various musical symbols and notations as part of a semiotic network, explaining how they contribute to the overall meaning and emotion of a piece. And we can guide students to understand the emotive aspects of music, discuss how dynamics, tempo, and articulation can change the character of a piece. And we can encourage students to experiment with these elements in their play. We can teach students to identify common patterns in music, like grammatical structures in language. This can involve analyzing pieces to spot recurring motifs, chord progressions, or rhythmic patterns. We can encourage students to use their understanding of musical patterns to create their own compositions or improvise within certain structures, thereby applying their theoretical knowledge in a practical but personalized context. And we can introduce music from various cultures and encourage students to explore and respect different musical forms and practices. And at the very end, we can recognize and incorporate students' cultural and personal musical interests into lessons, making learning more relevant and engaging. We can coordinate all these elements by using AI-powered apps and software for personalized practice recommendations, real feedback, and tracking progress. These tools can help tailor practice sessions to each student's individual needs and pace. And we can leverage online platforms for additional learning materials, interactive exercises, and exposure to a wide range of musical styles and practices. By integrating these elements of CFIPS into their teaching methods, music teachers can create a more effective, inclusive, and personalized learning environment. This approach not only improves students' technical skills, but also deepens their understanding and appreciation of music, catering to diverse learning needs and backgrounds. The benefits of CFIPS are extensive. Firstly, it enhances the efficiency of practice sessions, ensuring that time spent with an instrument is more productive and long-lasting. Secondly, it creates an inclusive and enriching environment where students' diverse musical identities are not just recognized but also integrated into the learning process. This approach fosters a deeper connection to music, enhancing both skills and passion. The impact of CFIPS extends far beyond individual classrooms. It has the potential to transform music education on a larger scale, promoting a more nuanced understanding of music learning. CFIPS fosters musical autonomy, encouraging students to become self-regulated learners. This shift not only enhances their current learning, but equips them with skills for lifelong learning strategies. CFIPS is more than just a new method. It's a paradigm shift in music education. It represents a fusion of cognitive science, cultural awareness, and technological innovation, all working together to create a more effective, inclusive, and deeply engaging music learning experience. I believe that CFIPS is the key to unlocking a richer, more fulfilling journey in music education for students worldwide. Thank you. Bye.
We have our next keynote speech by Professor Dr. Nazim Elsa-Babli. He is a professor of artificial intelligence and the founder of Empathetic AI from Melbourne, Australia. His keynote speech is about the rise of AI and its impact on the music. Professor Dr. Nazim Elsa-Babli.
Hi everybody, I'm very happy to participate to the World Music Conference with the team mixing between music and intelligence. I think that my objective today is to share with you how we can bridge between technology and business and see its impact on the music industry. And in fact, we're going to use as my main field of expertise AI and try to just show you and direct you to what's going on, how it's done, and in fact, try to understand a little bit the impact on the music industry. That's why I have entitled my presentation today to you, Rise of AI and its impact on the music. I'm Dr. Nassim Belbali, co-founder and CTO of Empathetic AI. We are a company that is based on generative AI. That's mean using AI in order to assist customer support. And for us, we have a product that will replace existing chatbots because they are able to respond to the second, third layer of problems that the customers are facing. And this will reduce the pressure on existing call centers. That's the first product. The second one is more an internal knowledge, which means that it can be used, for example, as an application for the HR department, where you can, an employee can ask any information, for example, on sick leave, you can know the condition, etc., without having to send an email or call an HR employee to have the information that already exists, and without having to look through email and etc. pressure. So really it's decrease also the pressure on HR department, and we are using generative AI and different algorithms and models and training in order to do that. I have a background in higher education, and which helped me through research during many years working with the algorithm, and my main objective was to understand what the customer wants and build algorithms that are able to assess the needs. In order to understand generative AI, we need to put that into a context. And first, we need to define what artificial intelligence is. Artificial intelligence is an algorithm that we train, that we set up with the specific parameters in order to provide or to create or to replace human tasks and activities. It can be done for forecast. It can have a lot of application. And within artificial intelligence, we have two subfields, the machine learning one and the deep learning one. And within the machine learning one, we have the more human intervention in the way that the algorithm is trained, what it's setting up of parameters, because we try to control the kind of output that you would like to have. Because when you're in a business, you need to control the kind of output or forecast or whatever you're trying to achieve there. Concerning deep learning, it's a little bit more different, because you are using raw data and you're giving a little bit of freedom to the algorithm to create new things. That's why we have generative AI, where we are, in our case for music, we try to create original and genuine artifacts. So why are we focusing on generative AI? Because we have four categories. We have audio, video, images, and text. In empathetic AI, we are focusing on text. And today, for the presentation, we are going to focus on audio and, in fact, the generation of music. And the most important thing that you need to really remember is that the way that the algorithm is trained, it's exactly the same for these four categories. That's why I'm going to show you and try to highlight you really what are the things that you need to take into consideration when we are dealing with using generative AI to create new music. To really understand the impact of AI on the music industry, you need to understand how we train generative AI. Okay, we have two ways of doing it. We have the supervised learning, we have some data, and it's very important. I'm going to come back to it at the end. That means we have a bunch of music that is there on our database. We build a model and we predict the output. That means we say, okay, we want an R&B song, okay, I want a rap song, and etc. So you're going to create me, and then there is a back and forward between the error, because we want to reduce the error, because we are talking about statistics and math, and you would like that the model, that the error is be the smallest one. So there will be a refinement of the model till we get the predicted output at the level of percentage of acceptation that you would like to have it. So this is the normal way of doing it. The second way of doing it, which is a little bit more creative, where we leave the algorithm to create and to be really thinking what we call out of the box, or creating out of the box to give you really genuine information. So you have a database of song and you tell him, create me something. Okay, so these are the two ways. However, I would like really to make you understand and focus on the input data, because it have impact later on the music industry. You cannot have a model, that's mean an algorithm training on no data. That's mean, in fact, you are thinking that you're going to have a genuine output of a song, but in fact it will be a composition of existing songs, because without data, you cannot train any model, you cannot generate anything. So in fact, it's basing it on what already exists, which will create a lot of problem afterwards on copyright, because you don't know exactly how much it's going to take. If it's taking just like one note, it's okay, but if it's taking like 5-6 notes and it's become part and can be recognized in another existing song, or song that have already been on the market and have been created, it will create problem, legal problem. That's why we're going to come back later and explain all this impact. But I wanted really to focus on that because the input data is the most important thing, because we're training on existing genuine craft. I think that everybody today have understood that AI will have an impact on many industries, and more precisely here in our case on the music industry. You have many reports, and McKinsey reports say 70% of these the companies that are working on music will use at least AI. We have many tools like AI Music Analyzer. That means it's going to analyze the different composition of music to create new piece. This is exactly what I just explained to you, the way that we train the generative AI algorithm. Then you have also the audio mastering with AI. That means you can the way that you listen to it, it can be worked to be even better than what already exists. Then you have also, we can be able to identify the different styles, to just listen to the music, and based on the algorithm and based on the database that they have of all the best performers in the world, when you can just put music of a young musician, and then he can tell you at this one by probability, make a forecast, he's going to become star or no, based on the way that he have make his composition. So in fact, the impact of AI is real, and now the musicians or the industry need to adopt that AI, but we're going to have some impact, and we're going to focus on three main impacts. The challenges that the music industry is going to face are mainly twofold. Okay, first one, it's related to ethic and legal impact. The ethic one, it means ethically, are you going to say, okay, I am part of this trend of R&B, rap, whatever, okay, trend of music. Ethically, I'm going to take all the music that have been created, and then I'm going to train it and create my own one. Okay, so ethically, you are going to be on your side. It's not, can we say still genuine, or you are based in it? Because before, what was happening, you were an artist. Yes, you were impacted, impressed, or you were using the source of your your craft based on different trend of existing trends, and now it's not your brain that is doing it, but it's the algorithm that you are training in order to create you new crafts, so new composition. So this is a little bit where we are. Yes, we're already doing it, but what is the level of doing it? Is it infringement? Is it right to do that or not? But then it have an impact legally, because before, when somebody was using part of an existing song, okay, the copyright, you go you sue them, and then they recognize that somebody have infringed the copyright and etc. But today, if you train the model and say, yeah, take me only like 1 second, half a second of a specific beat or whatever, how are you going to be able to identify that? Okay, and then when you identify it is legally have been using like half a second here, half a second here, half a second here of your song or the composition that you're making. So it's going to create, I think, new juridical fights, and perhaps the legislator will have to come back again and update the existing legislation. So you see a little bit the impact. And finally, the impact on staff, because you have a lot of people working on the music industry, for example, in the recording studios and etc. So if you have an algorithm that is able to do better and faster and cost efficient than what already exists, that means it will have an impact. Perhaps not now, because they're not able to do everything on their own, so they need the human here and the way that they're doing things. But we need to be very careful about the impact that is going to have. So that's why the ethical part and the legal part can stop that evolution, or can make it less impact on the staff that are in the music industry. But like any music industry, that means the jobs that are going to be lost, they're going to be, part of them be recreated in jobs that will be there to more work in the in the music industry, just like, for example, now we have new jobs with ChatGPT and etc., like prompt engineer, that really they are trained to really write exactly the information so they can retrieve it more efficiently than others. So as you understood, data is very important. So what kind of data do you need for music? And in fact, a song, instrument, everything, sounds, everything that you can collect, because you need to understand it can be labeled data. That means you know where they're coming from, or unlabeled data. The algorithm is able to treat it and to train on it. But the most important thing is more data you have, better output you're going to have. That means if you have a small amount of data, small amount of song that you're training of them, that means the creativity and the output that is going to be created by the algorithm will be totally different. Because in fact, if you give him a lot of diversity, a lot of base, so he can go and learn from everything that you give him and then give you a better result. And I use this slide that you are using in Empathetic AI to give some consulting to the companies, is that in fact, when you have no data, you cannot create anything. Okay, we can support you to build the data and the way that you need to organize it in order to be able to train the model. However, if you have, as I was telling you, few data, we can use what we call existing large language model. That means we have already been training a lot of data on music and etc. And we are going to fine tune it to use specific needs. That means you say to me, okay, I tell you I have a database and I have been already training it on all kinds of songs. And you say, oh, I am just interested in reggae. Okay, so I'm going to train the song of reggae within the large language model, so we can train your models. You can have creative artifacts and composition on reggae. Okay, otherwise it will be using a lot of things. So that's something that is used. But what the music industry is going to go, and this is what we call the proprietary algorithm, that means all the big music industry are going and should go toward the customization of the large language model. That means they're going to have the proprietary algorithm. You imagine that you are a big company, you have like thousands of songs, you have signed thousands of singers and etc. What you are going to have a database of songs. So you are going to build on this database of songs, existing songs that you pay the copyright that belongs to you because you have the way using it, and you are going to create from there new songs. And this is also will have a big impact also on singers, on the one that write the song, the one that make the composition of the song, and etc. Because everything will be done on things that they won't have any problem. They will have perhaps some practical problem. This is what going on now with the Hollywood, with all the writer strikes and etc. Because today you can replace an actor, you can make a whole film with no actors. Okay, that's because you already have an actor on the box, you have film him, so you can reproduce that. And this is the same thing about the plays, about everything. So you can have different scenarios that can be built. So the whole industry is changing. So perhaps also the main problem that's going to happen perhaps on the music industry, that they're able to create their own song without somebody writing them the lyrics, without having somebody making the composition, without even having somebody singing it, because they already have the copyrights of the voices, of the composition, etc. And they're going just to create something based on what they already have. So these are all the different things that need really to be taken into consideration when we're thinking about the impact of AI on the music industry. And you're going to there are going to be very big impacts. And then, as any industry is going to evolve, and there will be the legislature. That's why everybody's talking about AI, how the government are going to impact it, how they're going to control it, and all this come into the discussion about AI, and more precisely the generative AI, and even more specifically to the music sector. I hope that I have been able to really brush you a little bit the context and give you my point of view and show you that the impact really of the technological part on the music industry, and I'm sure that you're going to talk about the implication. I'm very sorry that I will not be with you because I am in Australia today. So I hope that it will ignite some question and exchanges, and it will contribute to this conference. And thank you again for the invitation, and thank you for your attention.
Our next speaker is Riddhi Doshi Patel. She is a child psychologist, parenting counselor, mental health practitioner, 3-time TEDx speaker, and advises to 16 TEDx clubs. She will be speaking on the science of sound, what makes music enjoyable.
From the mesmerizing melody of your favorite song to the thrilling beats of a drum, music holds a captivating power over our emotions and senses. But what exactly makes music so enjoyable? I have an answer to this. Namaste, I am Riddhi Doshi Patel, a mental health practitioner, a dance movement therapist from Mumbai, India. The answer to this dwells into the world of psychology, where the science of sound unravels the secret behind our musical pressure. The system, which is involved in processing emotions and controlling memory, lights up when our ears perceive music. The chills you feel when you hear a particularly moving piece of music maybe results into a sudden rise of dopamine that triggers sensation of pleasure and well-being. Let me share an example here with all of you. Do you still remember Ringa Ringa Roses or Jingle Bell, Jingle Bell? Why do you remember that? Because it has left a memory on you. And that makes it interesting for all of us. Rhythm, music, and movement makes an amazing combination, and that really helps us human beings. Music's impact on our emotions is profound. It evokes a range of feelings from joy to sadness to anger, having the ability to influence our mood. The harmony, the rhythm, and lyrics of a song can trigger memories, feelings, and images resonating with our personal experiences. This emotional connection taps into our brain, processing emotions and enhancing our feelings of pleasure and happiness. Don't we all just want to get up and dance when a favorite party song plays? I'm sure the answer is yes. Why is it yes? Because the brain is wired to perceive and appreciate patterns. When we listen to music, our brain processes rhythm and harmony. The beat or rhythm activates brain areas, encouraging movement or foot tapping. Did you hear that? Well, that's exactly been playing in my mind since morning. Simultaneously, our perceptions of pleasant or unpleasant sounds are also influenced. Have you noticed sometimes when I sit in the car and you're about to start the car and there's a sound because you've not worn the seat belt? That's an unpleasant sound, but that stays with you. So whenever you sit and try to start the car, the ding rings your mind and you wear the belt because you know that sound, although unpleasant, stays with you and reminds you that you have to wear the seatbelt. The brain seeks, similarly, predictability and pattern recognition in music. And when it aligns with our expectations, it rewards us with a sense of immense satisfaction. This is exactly why we start humming or enjoying familiar music. All of us does, right? I just said, this is on my mind since morning. Also, we dislike the music we have heard before and we haven't liked. So if somebody plays that music, our immediate reaction is, please, or you try and move out from that place because you have a very unpleasant memory associated. Now, why does that happen? It happens because we have our individual preferences. Our musical preferences are highly individualistic and are shaped by our cultural background, experiences, and personality. The songs that resonate deeply with us often reflect our personal stories. Positive associations with certain songs and genre amplifies our enjoyment as they connect to moments and memories, people, or certain feelings in our lives. Some might be like EDM, while some of us might enjoy soothing and calming songs. Hence, it is said that role of memory is immense in our understanding or our preference about certain types of music, a particular music genre. Our musical preferences are highly individualistic and shaped by our cultural background, our experiences, and even our personality. The songs that deeply resonate with us often reflect our personal stories and people close to us. Positive associations with certain songs or genre amplify our enjoyment as they connect to moments, people, feelings in our lives. And as I rightly said, why does that happen? Because it's the power of anticipation and surprise. Music, it's a blend of the unexpected and the expected. And this is what contributes to its enjoyable moments. When a particular music piece follows, it is followed by expected patterns in our mind. It rewards our anticipation, like the chorus, for example. Simultaneously, surprising elements or unexpected variation are intriguing and excites our brains, such as verses or raps. Some meaningful music stanzas or words that have been used, which adds layers to our interest and delight. Music undeniably remains a universal language that is beyond cultures and languages. Understanding the psychology behind our love for music provides a glimpse into the depth of human experience. This blend of art and science adds to the incredible impact of music on our lives, in our sad moments, and especially our happy ones. Not to forget concerts and weddings. I hope I could add value to your understanding about what makes music memorable. Namaste once again from Riddhi Doshi Patel and from India, Mumbai. Thank you so much.
Our next speaker, Diamond Dougal, is a world-class music producer, composer, and AI consultant inspiring a diversity of music with future technology through collaboration, licensing, mentoring, and international public speaking. He will be speaking on musicians in AI, musicians' perspective on AI in music. Is this something we must embrace? Diamond Dougal.
Hello everyone, my name's Diamond Dougal. I'm a music producer, composer and an AI music consultant. And today I'm going to discuss a topic that's been shaping the future of music creation. Harmony and tension, navigating the impact of AI on musicians. In the ever-evolving realm of music creation, the future of artificial intelligence and musicianship presents a transformative journey. As musicians explore the potential benefits and pitfalls of integrating AI into their creative processes, the role of music producers also becomes increasingly pivotal. So let's look at this nuanced landscape, examining both the advantages and disadvantages of musicians embracing AI, with a spotlight on musicians who are producers also. So first of all, what are the advantages of using AI for musicians? I think the first advantage is AI creates a catalyst for creative inspiration, pushing musicians beyond conventional boundaries and offering novel musical ideas. The ability to analyze vast data sets provides a wealth of inspiration for artists seeking to break new ground and new ideas. Imagine a world where AI acts as a muse, sparking ideas that may have never surfaced through traditional means. It's an exciting prospect, isn't it? The second advantage, I would say, is streamlined efficiency. AI tools streamline music production, allowing musicians to focus on the artistic aspects by automating routines and tasks like composing ideas, arranging, and mastering. This increased efficiency accelerates the creative process and enables musicians to explore their true artistic potential. Think about the time saved when AI takes care of the nitty-gritty details, allowing musicians to dive deeper into the creative process. Surely that's a game changer. The third advantage, I would say, of AI for musicians is democratizing music creation. AI democratizes music creation by breaking down entry barriers and providing opportunities for individuals with varying levels of musical training to participate in the creative process. The accessibility of AI tools fosters a more inclusive musical landscape. Picture a world where anyone with a passion for music can contribute, irrespective of their formal training. It's a powerful vision that AI helps bring to life. I do strongly believe that all of us are creative in our own ways, whether we are accomplished musicians or not, and if we have the capacity to share good music, which we can shape through our own thinking, and I'm not talking about plagiarizing somebody else's music with AI, but being able to explore ideas in a new way using AI, then surely that's a good thing. Now let's look at the focus and the crucial role that music producers play in this AI evolution. Contemporary producers seamlessly integrate AI into their workflows and have done for a few years now, transforming it from a disruptor into a collaborator. The synergy between human intuition and AI's computational prowess results in a harmonious blend of artistry and technological finesse. Producers find that AI enhances efficiency without sacrificing creativity. It's not about humans versus machines, it's about a partnership that amplifies the creative potential. Producers are becoming conductors of a unique symphony, orchestrating the collaboration between human creativity and artificial intelligence. Music producers also have a solid foundation in digital audio workstations using plugins. Producers boldly venture into uncharted territories with AI-infused applications. The expansive palette of sounds at their fingertips pushes boundaries and redefines the sonic landscape. This exploration makes a paradigm shift in the producer's role. Just imagine the possibilities when producers become explorers, charting new territories and reshaping the very fabric of music. It's a thrilling prospect that keeps the industry on its toes. So envisioning a collaborative future, producers envision a future where AI becomes an essential collaborator, not merely a tool. This evolving relationship signifies a reimagining of artistic potential, where creativity knows no bounds. Producers emerge as visionaries, steering the industry towards a future defined by human-AI collaboration. The future isn't about humans being replaced by machines, it's about a harmonious coexistence where human creativity and AI innovation complement each other. Music producers are at the forefront, shaping this collaborative future. So what are the disadvantages of AI for musicians? I think the biggest disadvantage that we are all aware of is navigating copyright. The ethical dilemma arising from AI's use of copyright material, sparking debates about fair use and potential infringement on original creators' rights, is obviously a major concern. Musicians find themselves navigating a complex copyright landscape, questioning the ethical implications of using AI trained on copyrighted material. As we plunge into this realm of innovation, we can't ignore this challenge. Copyright concerns bring about a crucial discussion on ethics and artistic integrity. The second disadvantage is preserving the attribution and artistic influence. The absence of inherent attribution in AI-generated compositions poses a challenge, requiring ethical guidelines to ensure proper credit to human creators and preserve cultural relevance. Discussion revolves around the ethical responsibility of acknowledging the human influence in AI-generated works. Who deserves credit for a piece of music when both humans and AI contribute? It's a question that demands careful consideration to maintain the integrity of the artistic process. The third disadvantage is safeguarding musicians' livelihood. The potential scenario of AI-generated music replacing human compositions raises concerns about the financial impact on musicians, necessitating protective measures. This delicate balance between technological advancement and preserving the livelihood of musicians becomes a focal point of ethical considerations. As we embrace the possibilities AI brings, we must also ensure that it doesn't jeopardize the livelihood of the very artists who bring music to life. Let's look a bit more into the ethical considerations and the legal landscape surrounding AI in music. Musicians grapple with a complex legal landscape with AI, where confusing licensing in open source AI implementations poses challenges requiring a clear legal framework. Establishing robust legal guidelines becomes imperative to ensure ethical AI music creation. In this ever-evolving landscape, navigating the legal terrain is crucial to fostering an environment where AI and human creativity coexist ethically. We need fair compensation models. Profit motivations surrounding AI-generated music raise ethical questions about potential exploitation of musicians. Transparent and fair compensation models are crucial to address these concerns. Musicians and music producers must advocate for ethical business practices that recognize and compensate original creators. It's not just about the art, it's also about ensuring that the creators are fairly rewarded for their contributions. Fair compensation models are the bedrock of a sustainable and ethical AI-infused music industry. As musicians and producers navigate this exciting exploration into the world of AI, they emerge as vital conduits between composers and AI software developers. The collaborative symphony they orchestrate holds the key to finding common ground, ensuring that the marriage of art and technology benefit both creators and innovators. The evolving landscape of music production, shaped by this delicate balance, fosters boundless creativity and defines the future of AI-infused music. Through thoughtful consideration of both advantages and disadvantages, the music industry moves towards a harmonious coexistence where innovation aligns with ethical principles. Thanks for joining me on this exploration of harmony and tension and navigating the impact of AI on musicians. As we continue to shape the future of music, let's remember that the heart of it all is a unique blend of human creativity and the endless possibilities that AI brings. So let's continue to make great music, but also let's look to a future where we will embrace AI in new ways and we will rise to the challenges that it brings, but we won't compromise the originality and the organic, natural influences that musicians bring to the collaborative, creative future. Thank you.
Our next speaker is a Lebanese musician, composer, and a musicologist. He is the founder and director of the Lebanese Living Composers Channel LLC and Free Music Education for All projects. He is also founder, principal conductor, artistic director, and arranger of Orchestra El Monhem and Chuefa Orchestra and Chorale. He will be speaking on how can music be used to enhance intelligence of all kinds. Wadi Abu Diab.
Hello everyone, thank you for joining me today. Have you ever noticed how music has the power to move you, stir emotion deep within, or even transport you to another time and place? Today, we'll explore how music can not only touch our hearts, but also enhance intelligence in various domains. Music has been an integral part of human culture for centuries, and now we have a growing body of research that suggests its profound impact on intelligence. In the next few minutes, we'll discover how music can improve cognitive skills, enhance emotional intelligence, foster creativity, boost language abilities, and even develop social intelligence. Let's begin by examining the impact of music on cognitive intelligence. Numerous studies have demonstrated that music training can improve cognitive skills such as memory, attention, and problem-solving abilities. For example, research conducted at the University of California found that children who received music education displayed enhanced mathematics performance compared to their peers who did not have such training. The rhythmic patterns and structures present in the music stimulate and exercise the brain, resulting in cognitive improvement across various domains. Moving on, let's explore the connection between music and emotional intelligence. Music has a unique ability to evoke and express emotions. By listening to and engaging with the music, individuals can develop a heightened awareness and understanding of their emotion, as well as those of others. In fact, music therapy has been successfully used to help individuals with autism or emotional disorders by allowing them to express their emotions in a safe and structured manner. Additionally, studies have suggested that music training positively impacts emotional empathy, fostering a greater ability to comprehend and relate to the feeling of others. Now, let's turn our attention to the role of music in enhancing creativity. Playing a musical instrument or composing music requires a high level of creative thinking. By engaging in musical activities, individuals can develop their imagination, divergent thinking, and problem-solving skills. The process of experimenting with different melodies, harmonies, and rhythms encourages individuals to think outside the box and explore alternative possibilities. Music also plays a significant role in developing language skills. Research has shown a strong connection between musical training and language development. Learning to play an instrument or participate in music lessons enhances vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation skills. The rhythmic pattern and phrasing in music align with the structure and intonation of language. Studies have even found that individuals with musical training perform better in second language acquisition, suggesting that music can help learners master foreign languages more effectively. And lastly, let's discuss the impact of music on social intelligence. Music has a remarkable ability to foster teamwork, collaboration, and communication skills. Think about a music ensemble or a choir. Each member must listen actively, coordinate their timing, and adjust their performance to create harmonious music together. By participating in such activities, individuals learn how to work in a group, follow direction, and communicate effectively without words. Music education programs have long recognized the importance of fostering social intelligence, providing a platform for individuals to connect and empathize with others. In conclusion, music holds incredible potential to enhance intelligence in various domains. Its impact goes beyond simply providing entertainment. It can influence cognition, emotional well-being, creative thinking, language development, and social skills. I encourage each of you to explore the power of music in your own lives. Whether it's learning to play an instrument, engaging in listening-based activities, or simply being mindful of the music you choose to listen to, incorporating music intentionally can have a profound impact on your personal growth and development. Before saying goodbye, I would like to take this opportunity to raise awareness and show support and solidarity with all the Palestinians who suffered from the genocide in Gaza and Rafah, now for more than 75 years under the occupation. I worked with the Palestinian kids for more than 5 years, And these humans are highly talented and dedicated, and they deserve, as all kids around the globe, to have their chance. And this will never happen unless Palestine and all the Palestinians will have their freedom back. Thank you once again for joining me today, and thank you for the World Music Conference for organizing this international music event.